Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to WhatsMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Well, it's Monday, we are back to the top of this theme chart, the most popular map of the moment, and it's this one. My first instinct when I saw this was, it reminds me a little bit of the Paradox logo. What do you think? And again? And again? I'm right, aren't I? I'm right. Anyway, let's get my 3 puns out of the way right at the start of today's show. To be or not to be a grouch if this is not an Oscar-winning map? That is the question. Yeah, why am I doing William Shakespeare and Sesame Street puns? Well, you won't have to wait long to find out. One thing I will say though is you can pass the time in the meantime by exercising your right-clicking finger. That's right, hitting that like button really does support the channel, it gets me seen by more people, and you may use your left hand if you're left-handed as well. It's up to you. Today's map is Desdemona map by the Friendly Cookie Monster. Now, Desdemona, a character from Shakespeare, the Friendly Cookie Monster famously not a character from Shakespeare. There's your start square, looks perfectly good to me, I've no grumbles with that at all. Let's have a little look at the terrain heights. It's all about the valleys. It's all about the valleys. But the question is, what about the resources? Very usable, very happy with those, thank you very much. But what about the fishing? Because the fishing is new, and this is supposed to be a fishing map. Looks a bit weak, I'm afraid. Anchovies, yes, a little bit of those, and the rest of it is just the standard shellfish. Anyway, off to the workshop. What do we need? No DLC required for this one. We'll be using the realistic 1.5.5 temperate theme, and because it's been required, sort of, if we wish to use it, of course, is the vanilla temperate. Not what I would have chosen, but they have given me a little shout out in the description. So for that, I cannot. 400 hours of WhatsMap they say they've watched. Ye of little life. Go and find yourself something to do. Or you could just watch the other 1,000 hours. How many hours have I got on the show? Probably about 400 hours. I'm losing count. I'm losing the will to live some days. Now, you'll notice I won't be talking too much about the networking on this map because, frankly, it's of a decent standard. Little bump in the rail there on the left, on the right, but it's negligible. Probably cause a derailing in real life, but we can let it go. We'll let it go. It's out in the fog anyway. We are sort of like out the edge of the map at the moment. The tunnels are all in sensible locations and they're all very well done indeed. We're now heading down into a buildable area. The other thing I like about this map is, yes, it's vanilla, but the tree usage has been done very well indeed. Normally, if you've got a big space, you just want to fill it with something. And, well, the creator, the Friendly Cookie Monster, has failed to do so. There's your first intersection, and once again, it's straightforward. It's simple, it's tidy. The ramps are good gradients, and it doesn't feel too big for what it needs to be, which is a good thing. But yeah, the trees, sometimes we see maps with too sparse in the tree usage. This is not the case with this particular map. It's about right. In fact, if anything, it's a little light to allow for detailing. Now, a detailer's map on the vanilla, or I guess if you're playing vanilla, you don't want to be subscribing to a whole lot of stuff. There's lots of things you can do. And you can subscribe to your own trees and put your own custom trees in as well. That's going to require a bit of skill, mind you, to blend the custom trees in with the vanilla ones, but you could if you wanted to. Following the rail and the road, well, still following the road, we'll do the rail. When we get to start square, we'll switch from the highways to the rail. Again, we've got another potential start location there. We're not at the start square yet. Yeah, we'll check the rail out. We'll follow a slightly different route for the rail coming back. But once we get to start square, you'll have seen enough of the highways to realise what it's all about. The routes are sensible. They're not overly complicated. They're not fanciful. Certainly nothing broken about them. Everything is pretty good with the roads. And in fact, with the rail as well. In fact, on this whole map, my main grumble, and I'm going to say it now, get it out of the way now while we have a look at this possibly this intersection's a bit too big for my liking. But, we're working in valleys. I think it should be tighter. There's limited space down here. It should be tighter. Well, yeah, my main grumble is with the LUT, actually. Well, there are a couple of minor ones to come, but it's the LUT. It just seems a bit washed out. And some maps can actually make that work. I don't feel that this one is actually working for me. It could have been something a lot more vibrant, a lot more punchy, and something with a bit more in the way of the dark colours, just to bring out the cliffs, maybe. It just feels washed out. It feels like a wet map. Maybe I should have gone with a gloomier skybox, possibly. A couple of bridges over the stream here. We will actually have a look at that bridge later on. It looks perfect at the first glance. It is a decent height over the river. Probably, again, the maximum minimum heights that you would want, and that's fine. More perfectly placed tunnels here. But I do actually have a bit of an observation with that bridge. It's not a grumble. It's an observation. Again, intersection here. We are now heading down to Start Square, which is why you see no traffic coming down this way. No through traffic down here. The rail is down here as well, and Start Square now opens up. And it's quite a reasonable size. Plenty of space to build into down here. Certainly get to a decent sized city before you have to look to expand into other territory. These 2-lane roads are 100% vanilla. I can tell you that because I had to check, and they are indeed 100% vanilla. And then we've got the trees, which is a nicely decorated roundabout. Meanwhile, somewhere over there should be a big old building, which is going to be difficult to fly around. But that's no fault of the creator. They weren't to know I was going to try flying my camera around it awkwardly. The creator is Khrysler. The building is the Jackson Tower, and it's magnificent. And let's do factoids, because this is quite a long one today. The late Sir John Betjeman, who became Britain's Poet Laureate, was born on this day, the 6th of April in 1906. His poetry was largely concerned with the disappearing traditions of country and provincial life, and it was always unpretentious. When he was asked, just after the Second World War, what he would like to have been other than a poet, he replied that he would like to have been a station master on a small country branch line, single tracked. So there we are, Sir John Betjeman, born on this day in 1906, which would make him a bit dead now. Anyway, they are the Jackson Tower by Khrysler. That is rather marvellous, if I say so myself. I do like that. Can't get in close enough. I'm just spinning further and further away. The big buildings are always the hardest ones. But anyway, there you go. Nice bit of work. Not leaning at all. Not leaning at all. Good work. Good work. Good work. Can we pull away now? Can we pull back now? Pull back. Pull back. I know what I'm doing. Camera work. Not my best skill. Commentary, not my best skill. Determination, producing a map review after map review, that'll be my best skill, I think. Anyway, we're following the rail now, because why would we not? The rail, there's not too much to say about it. It's, as you've probably noticed before, it's running along. Most of this is flat land, which makes it relatively easy to build a relatively flat, sensible network. Tunnel there, nice gentle ramp going into the tunnel. I can just about believe that one. And we've got the junction, underground junction there, all tidy. Going through the tunnel here again, and back roughly the way that we came. And back over the same bridge. Same bridge. Can you see what's wrong with this bridge? Have a quick glance. Can you see it? Yeah, you will in a minute. You will in a minute. We will come back to that bridge. We will come back to that bridge. Meanwhile, we'll just like hurtle back down through the valleys. Yeah, it's just a map of valleys. We won't be doing much building on the mountains and the hills, because they are a little bit on the steep side. It's just planning how you. It should be interesting for gameplay. I feel should be interesting. Finding a way, especially making some sort of shipping and fishing ports. That's what it's all about, I feel. Anyway, that goes off into the fog, which means it's going to be about time for our paid promotion intermission. Sit back and make sure you check out this guy's channel. He's really rather quite entertaining, if I say so myself. Hi, BonBon here. If you're a big fan of Let's Plays but are bored with the same old cities, I can highly recommend checking out This Old Gamer, a Let's Play worth watching. Click the information button now to find out more. And so back to Desdemona map by the friendly cookie monster, and we have shipping routes. Not surprising really. We have one that dead ends there. Then there's another one that comes in, no, ends there, right by the edge, so you won't get any through shipping traffic there. Don't know if that's a good thing or not, but it does end there, and that's what it does. Then this will track back around the outside of the map. It's a bit of a long route around the outside, way deep in the fog, but it is there, and it does provide shipping all the way down that side of the map. Meanwhile, if we follow this right to the edge of the map, there we go. You see it comes in from here. We get one of these lovely curvy triangles, which works very nicely indeed for me. This then tracks back into the heart of the map. Come over here and it will dead end right the way down here in what I'm going to call a fjord. And then if we go back to where that split off, finding where we were, there we go, this is your bendy triangle, meets up with another bendy triangle immediately there, kind of a boob shape, little ripples going on there, and yeah, into the fjord up there as well, nice and tidy. Water flow, we've got, well, this is the river that runs down through the start square. It's not the strongest, but it is strong enough, and it does pump into the bay, and the water in the bay is definitely pushing out, including the little bit off on the, turn the camera around, on the right there. We've got a water spawn point there as well. You should be okay with water flow on this map. All told, it's quite a striking looking map. Almost believable, almost believable. The flat area is almost like reclaimed areas to me. So I don't know if that makes you think of anything, but yeah, give it a spin around. Which way round was that Paradox logo? I think there's one more turn. I don't know. Anyway, yes, I don't know if it was a Paradox logo at all. Don't think it was, but it might be. We do have, not surprisingly, more than one essential lighthouse. The essential lighthouse. Blue one there, and there's another one over here, and there are a few others dotted around. These are by no means my favourite ones. There are a couple of others in better and more fun locations, but I don't mind those where they are, and they're fine. They're not, they certainly, I think they add to the map a little bit. This down here is everybody's favourite factory. Does that add to the map there? Well, it gives the rail a reason to be, I guess. So we'll just leave it alone, shall we? What more have we got? We've got loads of waterways. I'm looking around for the start square. There we go. There's your start. Start square is down here. Again, lots of buildable space down here. I'm going to argue that I'm not a fan of the reclaimed the harbour area here. I think that probably should be left to the player, or just a hint being left. Yeah, it's been dragged out a little bit more than I would like it to have been. But it certainly, playability, not an issue. Now we're going upstream. We're going to have a look at a couple of things. A couple of minor grumbles, not game-breaking grumbles, nothing to moan about. Again, the tree work, like the mix of trees, and just the minimalist and some, so it's not too minimal. I like it. Okay, coming up this way to these two bridges, I'm going to point out what my grumble is, and then we'll have a look at the spawn point. Got a minor grumble about that. And again, minor grumble. Nothing that you're going to break a sweat over. So these two bridges, yeah, I'm going to come up to them. Again, they look a reasonable height. But if you have a look at the location, it's across the widest part of the river. Look how narrow that is. They've spent the money going over it. It's almost double the width. So I would suggest that structural engineers would have gone, no, we want to go around that. Why go to all that effort? Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm wrong. Tell me that I'm wrong. That's fine. This water spawn area here, I kind of like it. It's kind of from a lake. But I have a couple of minor. If it's going to be from a lake, the lake's being fed here by a tiny little stream, and the stream is fine because it's really very light. But I would have probably started it a little bit. It got a couple of spawn points up there. I probably would have started it just a little bit further down from one spawn point because it's barely noticeable. So that would have been fine. A little bit of a trickle going in. But this lake is, for me, it's too small for the amount of water coming out of it. So either I would have gone with a slightly larger lake or a slightly narrower, what's a lake exit called? Yeah. An emergence. A slightly narrower emergence where the lake becomes a stream into a river. That's probably how I would have improved that. But anyway, what do you think of this map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. In fact, this month's top 10 will be out by the end of the week, so watch out for that one. Okay, aesthetically, I find it a bit bland. I do love the shape. Find the colours and it's just a bit washed out for me. I'm gonna go for a low 4. I don't hate it, and I think it's more interesting than a lot of 3-star maps that we've seen. So I'm gonna go for a 4-star, but it is a low 4. Detailing. The detailing standards are quite high, but nothing to write home about. It's nothing very exciting. And I was thinking, is this a 4-star map? And the thing is, I think we could have pushed the boat out a little bit more. There's nothing to mark it down on. I just don't think there's anything to mark it up on. So I'm going to give it a high 3 because it is good standards. Gameplay potential. I would have gone 4 stars for this, but in the description it does say it's for the Sunset Harbour fishing if you really want to go for that. And I feel it's not really suited for that really that much. So I'm going to give that 3 stars. Very playable. Multiple replays, but not very exciting. Desdemona map by the Friendly Cookie Monster. It's the sort of map that I would have built if I was bored, possibly. I didn't want to spend months and months and months building a map, and I kind of like it. I just can't see myself getting into it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, for commenting, for liking and for subscribing. Thank you to all the BonBonB buddies over on Patreon. There's your names up there for April. It's good to see you. Very good to see you. And you. And not you so much. Just kidding. I'll see you very, very soon. Thanks for watching.